Good morning, class. Today, I am Sir Kumar Pandey, going to start the new chapter of the geography, that is agriculture. And it is the fourth chapter of class 10th geography. As we are knowing that India is a country of farmers, and agriculture is very much important sector here. And when we just go through the meaning of agriculture, then etymological meaning, it means when we just split up the word agriculture, it comes from the Latin word. Here, ager or agri means soil and culture means cultivation. So agriculture means agri plus culture or cultivation of soil. So when we just talk about the meaning of agriculture, then it is a primary activity. You must be knowing that in the class 9th and 8 also you have read that there are three types of activities: primary, secondary and tertiary, and you will read it further it in the economic sector, that is sector of Indian economy, that agriculture is a part of primary activity, industries are the part of secondary activities, and transports are part of tertiary activities, and in the higher classes you will read about the quaternary activities. So in agriculture it includes growing crops, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and one thing you must point out that it is a rearing of livestock also. It means when we just rear the animals, in Hindi we can say the पशुपालन. इसका मतलब कृषि में दोनों चीज़ें आती हैं, खेती करना और पशुपालन करना. जब हम एग्रीकल्चर को एज ए सिस्टम देखते हैं तो इसके तीन प्रकार हैं. फर्स्ट वन इज इनपुट, सेकेंड वन इज प्रोसेस और प्रोसेसिंग or operation, and third one is output. In input, seed, fertilizer will come, and you are knowing the operations, that is plowing, sowing or irrigation, weeding and harvesting, and outputs that after input and process the output will come, like crops or wool or dairy farming or poultry. And when we just talk about the status of agriculture in India, then 1.4 million square kilometer of land in India is under cultivation, and it is the second crop output after the China. If you see the data, agriculture is the India's biggest economic sector and employs 52.1% of total workforce. So we are totally dependent on agriculture, and agriculture or farming can be divided broadly into two types. First one is subsistence farming, second one is commercial farming. If we just talk about the subsistence farming, in Hindi it is known as जीवन निर्वाह कृषि, and commercial farming is known as व्यवसायिक कृषि. If you just see the Hindi term, subsistence means जीवन निर्वाह. It means the agricultures which are very much essential for the livelihoods, but commercial, as it is Vanij, means it is mainly for the business purpose. And subsistence farming also divided into two parts. First one is primitive subsistence farming, second one is intensive subsistence farming. And in the commercial farming also we can see the plantation and mixed farming. And again, primitive subsistence farming may have further division like the shifting cultivation and nomadic herding. In previous classes you have read about the shifting cultivation, that normally people cut the trees and do the agriculture for some years, and after that they shift their places. So here shifting means to shift the cultivation, and nomadic herding the animals. So first one we can see the primitive subsistence farming. In the primitive subsistence farming, it is the primary phase of the subsistence farming. Here it is generally practiced on the small patches of land with the help of primitive tools, and family or community labor works in the fields, and it normally depends on the monsoon. It is also known as a slash and burn agriculture. Slash means to cut, burn means you are knowing. So in this type of agriculture, normally people cut the trees and burn the trees and they cultivate there, and after some time they shift from one place to other. And this is also happening in lots part of India and world also. In certain places this is known as certain names, like in the northeast it is known as jhuming. In Central America and Mexico it is known as milpa, and in Brazil it is known as roca. In Indonesia, it is known as ladang. In Vietnam, it is known as re. And we have also the different names in different states of country also. Normally, tribal people do such type of cultivations. Like in Odisha, it may known as common. So it is the primary phase of subsistence farming. And next one is intensive subsistence farming. In intensive subsistence farming, it is normally done where pressure of population on the land. It means we are knowing that in India, these type of cultivation normally happens because we are highly populated country after the China. And here it is also labor intensive. And in subsistence farming, there is low capital investment. We generally invest the money to satisfy our livelihood only. And in subsistence farming, farmers produce for their own consumption, as I have discussed it earlier. In subsistence farming, processing industry are not associated, and we can just do the multiple cropping. Multiple cropping means when we just produce different types of crops simultaneously from same field. And last one is commercial farming. As the term suggests, commerce means business. So this type of cultivation is generally done for the business's purpose. For example, sugarcane or tea. And as I have discussed earlier, that in commercial farming, plantation agriculture also comes. When you just try to define the plantations, then when a single crop is grown in the large areas, it's called the plantations, like tea or sugarcane. So we can see just point-wise use of higher doses of modern inputs like HYV seeds, it means high yield variety seeds, and fertilizer also. The commercializations of agriculture varies from region to another. It means that you can just take one example about this point, that in Odisha, the rice paddy production or rice cultivation is the example of intensive subsistence farming. But in Punjab and Haryana, it is the example of commercial farming. It means it also varies from areas to areas. And it also required well-developed network of transport and communications. In plantation, single crop is grown in large areas, and plantation has an interface of agriculture and industries. It is capital intensive unit input. Here commerce, see the difference. Generally in the board examination, one question comes that what is the difference between intensive subsistence farming and commercial farming. If you just try to compare that, intensive subsistence farming is labor intensive, but commercial farming is the capital intensive unit. And generally we use the migrant laborers that you can see in the Assam and different places, that people mostly from the Bihar, Odisha and Bengal, they go there and work in the plantations. And you can see this reference when you just read the history book or like the nationalism in India, then there will be, you will understand that the workers have revolted against the factory owners. So some examples are there like the tea, coffee, rubber, sugarcane and banana. And the next topic is about the cropping seasons. You are knowing that different particular crops are suitable for different seasons. In India, we may have three type of cropping season. First one is Rabi crop, second one is Kharif crop, third one is Zaid crop. We can just confuse that what is the difference between Rabi crop, Kharif crop and Zaid crop, and this question generally comes in the board examination, that what is the difference between Rabi crop and Kharif crop. Then you can take the example this from the Rabi, the Hindi term Rabi comes like the sun, and from the sun we can just take the example that these generally happens, or the harvesting generally happens in the season of sun, like this season for example. And we can just memorize that Rabi, we can take one example of the Rabi crop, that is wheat, and we can take the example of Kharif crop, that is paddy. So here is the table of pattern cropping season. You can just see that Rabi, the tables are given, serial number, name of the cropping season, sowing season or month, harvesting season, crops name or name of the state. The first one is Rabi. So the sowing season is winter, that is October to December, and harvesting season is April to June. It means these crops are harvested in these seasons, and in this time also, in the time of June, when your vacation starts. It is the harvesting season of Rabi crop. And the examples are wheat, barley, peas or gram, and it is generally done in Punjab, Haryana, UP and Rajasthan. Second one is Kharif crop. Kharif crop, there is not particular seasons, but it depends on the onset of monsoon. You are knowing that in India, there are the different timings of coming with the monsoon, and you have already read in the chapter 4th of the geography of class 9, that is monsoon, and it is harvested in September to October, and the major crops are paddy, maize, jawar or cotton, and the states related to are Assam, West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh. And last one is Zaid. Zaid is just the sowing season is that in the summer season it is grown in between Rabi and Kharif, and the main crops are watermelon, muskmelon, cucumber, fodder or crops. So this way we can just see that if you just try to memorize it, then you can just start from the month October. It is time of your autumn break. So and you can just take the tenure of 3 months like October, November, December. This is the sowing season, and just leave the 3 months like January, February, March, and then again start from April, May, June. This is a harvesting season. After June, this Kharif crop is grown. June, July, August, again leave the 3 season, and after that you can just come to the September and October. So this way, this is all about the first part of this chapter. So in this slide, we have just seen the meaning of agriculture, different types of agriculture. In broadly, it is divided as subsistence farming and commercial farming. Again, subsistence farming is divided into primitive and intensive, and in commercial farming we may have plantation and mixed farming. In mixed farming, different crops with animal husbandry are done, and after that you have read about different cropping season like Rabi, Kharif and Zaid. That's all for the today, and in the next part we will discuss about the rest of the chapter. Thank you. Have a good day.